Close your eyes and picture this. Armies clashing under torchlit skies, wielding weapons so advanced they appear almost magical. From flamethrowers that defied all logic to colossal siege devices that shook ancient walls, these creations were centuries, maybe even millennia, ahead of their time. Today, we're revealing the top 10 ancient war machines that seem impossible. 1. The Claw of Archimedes, 3rd century BCE. Imagine facing a towering wall on the shoreline of ancient Syracuse, only to have a mysterious crane-like device emerge from behind city walls. This was the legendary Claw of Archimedes. Reports claim it could reach out over the city's battlements, grab enemy ships and lift them partially out of the water, then slam them down, capsizing the hull. Though historians still debate its exact design, eyewitness accounts from Roman invaders left little doubt. The claw was a mechanical terror. Second Greek fire, 7th century CE. Think of a liquid flame that stuck to everything it touched and kept burning even on water. This was the infamous Greek fire, a secret incendiary weapon used by the Byzantine Empire. Its exact formula was guarded so closely that it vanished along with the empire. Rumored ingredients ranged from sulfur and quicklime to petroleum distillates, yet no modern recreation matches Greek fire's fearsome reputation. Sailors who faced it recounted ships and seas ablaze an unstoppable inferno. Third, Scythed Chariots of the Persians, 4th century BCE. When Persian war chariots raced across the battlefield, they did so with massive blades extending from their wheels, slashing through enemy ranks. Called Scythed Chariots, these vehicles combined speed with horrifying destructive power. As they charged, the rotating scythes could slice infantry lines, sowing panic. Though Scythed Chariots were not always effective against disciplined formations, their mere presence struck terror and forced foes to break ranks or face the spinning blades. 4. The Siege Towers of the Assyrians, 9th to 7th century BCE. Before advanced cranes and hydraulics, the Assyrians built siege towers capable of reaching formidable city walls. Towering structures of wooden frames covered with animal hides to protect from fire, these siege engines approached city fortifications on wheels. Archers rained arrows from the upper levels, while soldiers at the base used battering rams to breach gates. Their scale and sophistication, especially for the early Iron Age, seem almost unreal for the time. 5. The Hwacha of Joseon, Korea, 15th century CE. Most of us think of rocket barrages as a modern phenomenon, but the Hwacha was a Korean innovation that could launch up to 200 rocket-powered arrows at once. Essentially an ancient rocket launcher, the Hwacha unleashed a volley of flaming arrows upon enemy ranks. Using simple gunpowder and arrow designs, these salvos overwhelmed opponents in an explosive, chaotic storm. It was one of the earliest forms of volley fire, predating many modern rocket artillery concepts. 6. The Helepolis Taker of Cities, 4th century BCE. Helepolis translates to Taker of Cities, and for good reason. This monstrous siege tower, allegedly devised by Polyidus of Thessaly, was reported to stand nearly 100 feet tall, bristling with catapults and ballistae on multiple levels. Iron plates covered its exterior to protect it from fire. It was said that the giant contraption moved on massive wheels, allowing attackers to approach walls while hailing defenders with projectile weapons. Despite how impractical it may sound, historical records detail its deployment during Alexander the Great's Successors' Wars. 7. The Gastraphetes, Greek belly bow, 5th century BCE. Long before advanced crossbows emerged in medieval Europe, the Gastraphetes served as a mechanical bow that fired deadly bolts with significant force. Ancient Greeks credited it as the forerunner to larger siege crossbows. Soldiers braced the Gastraphetes against their stomach, hence the name belly bow, to draw back the bowstring under tension. Its engineering was so advanced that it paved the way for more complex torsion-powered catapults. Given how early it appeared, this impossible design highlights the ingenuity of Greek military engineers. 8. The Torsion catapult of the Hellenistic period, When we think catapult, we often picture a medieval trebuchet, but the earlier Torsion catapults used by Hellenistic armies, especially under leaders like Philip II and Alexander the Great, were incredibly sophisticated. These machines relied on bundles of sinew or hair, twisted tight as torsion springs to fling projectiles. Adjusting tension and angles allowed them to fire at varying distances with surprising accuracy. It seems almost impossible that armies from over 2,000 years ago had this level of mechanical control, but accounts and archaeological finds confirm it. The Iron-Clad warships of Qi, 5th century BCE. Chinese records speak of an ancient state called Qi which reportedly launched iron-clad ships against rival states. While historians debate their exact composition, some suggest these vessels may have been protected with iron plates, or had spiked attachments far surpassing contemporary wooden fleets. Could these be a prototype of iron ships, centuries before Europe developed armor plating for vessels? The evidence is fragmentary, but the possibility of advanced warships in ancient China stirs the imagination. 10. The Trojan horse, 13th to 12th century BCE, legendary. Though often considered myth rather than fact, the story of the Trojan horse remains one of the most iconic ancient war devices. If it truly existed an enormous wooden horse filled with soldiers, its design was genius, a deceptive gift that allowed Greek warriors to infiltrate Troy under the cover of night. Whether real or allegorical, the Trojan horse represents an impossible level of cunning and engineering for its supposed era. Even if simply a legend, it shows how ancient warfare wasn't just brute force strategy and clever ruses could topple mighty cities. From giant towers that scraped the heavens to liquid fire that burned on water, these ancient war machines shatter our assumptions about the limits of old technology. They reveal that our ancestors might have been far more ingenious and dangerous than we ever realized. Which war machine do you find hardest to believe existed? Let us know in the comments. If you love diving into these thrilling glimpses of the past, hit like, subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell. Until next time, stay curious.